Alright, welcome back to another episode of Doing Things Poorly. Picked up this quad bike off Marketplace for 120 bucks. It's a Chinese brand, it's not in great condition, it's been sitting about 10 years. And we're going to give it a go fixing it up. Don't know if it runs, the back wheels are either locked up or it's in gear. It was hard to sort of drag it into this spot. It's probably going to need some plastics, it'll probably need a carby, not sure what else yet. I don't really know anything about quads, so it'll be an interesting lesson for all of us. But first things first, we're going to hose it off, try and get some of this grime and stuff off, and then we'll come back and start digging in. Okay, it's the next day. We've washed it off and found out a few things. I pulled that front cover off. It's in a little bit worse condition than I originally thought. Took the battery out. As you can see, a lot of it is held in by tech screws, zip ties. There's cables unplugged. There's this fuel isolator, or the fuel shutoff is broken and not even connected anymore. There's duct tape holding the air intake in. The throttle doesn't actually move the throttle cable, and as I said, the transmission is in gear by the looks of things. So fair few things we need to fix up. I think first things first, we're going to take it into the shed and we'll start pulling off the fuel tank, maybe even some of these plastics, and we'll start looking into this throttle and the gears. We got the plastics off, fuel tank out, noticing some more broken stuff. So this cover for the exhaust is held on by cable ties, it's not in the right spot. We've got the brake lever is just a piece of rebar. As I said, the throttle lever doesn't work. I assume this is, there we go, this is the clutch and clutch master cylinder. I can't see any way of changing gears, so I assume it's auto. Again, I don't know anything about bikes, so I'm learning as we go. There's a key. I guess that's some sort of cutoff, because you've got like an on-off switch here and a start. Sorry, on-off switch there and start. And this is headlight switch. We've got a bunch of wires next to this start, or this key switch, that are cut. I don't know if they're for the headlights, but there is another plug here that may be for a headlight. This here looks like the airbox, or an air filter. So we're going to have to look into that and see. Almost certainly going to need to get a new air filter. But I think this pipe that connects to the transmission, I think that is maybe just a breather hose. Because if that's the air filter and that's air intake, the other tube only connects to the transmission. So that's what I'm assuming. There's some more cut wires and weird stuff about the place. Some really great T-nuts and that sort of thing to hold wires together. So we're going to need to look at some wiring at least. This throttle sender, whatever this thing is, that is definitely locked up, so that's going to need to be freed up before we can do too much. But I think, as I said before, the main thing we need to do is get it out of gear or figure out something with this transmission. So I'm going to jump on the other side and we'll have a look. We were looking at these brakes and everything, and I didn't know what was going on. What I found out, this is both sides, these handles are brakes. This is like a handbrake kind of holder thing. The other side, so one is front, I think this side is the back brake, the other side is the front brake. And I figured that out just by tracing these cables. What I haven't showed you, the brake caliper is not on the rear disc. That has been off since I picked it up. It's still in gear. I don't know if there's any way manually to get it out of gear. But one thing I want to do, this wiring, I figure if maybe I can start it, then it will make it easy to be out of gear or something. I want to just find out what's going on. So I picked up one of these things. This is a Kairos. Essentially it's a jumper pack. It's, I think, 1600 amp something. I'll put it on the screen. 1500 amps. There you go. So this has plugs that you can, essentially connect onto your battery and whatnot. It can do jump starting. It can do USB charging. All sorts of stuff. This positive wire is disconnected and I need to reconnect that, so I'm going to do that, connect it up and then see where we're at. Okay, it's done. This is all you need. These are a wonderful tool for doing any electrics. It's strippers, crimpers. You're going to need some heat shrink, obviously some kind of fire making device or heat device, and that's the end result. It's not the best heat shrink because I had to put it over the top of the ring thing, but it does the job. It's going to hold it there. It's crimped really nicely. I put both wires in. They poked through the top a little bit and have crimped down really well. I gave it a good few squeezes. So now I'm going to try hooking it up to that jumper pack and we'll see if we can get any life from it. So it comes up, it comes with this cord, just goes into the side. I've got a clip on the negative, clip on the positive. This will tell me, obviously it's how much battery is left in the pack. The green lights at the bottom are like your safety switches. It'll tell you if you've got positive and negative round the wrong way. It'll tell you if you're charging, all that sort of stuff. This was 160 bucks at Supercheap. I just picked it up today. We'll see how it goes. So we've got the main switch on, and we'll give it a little. No, nothing at all. So is that rectifier? Is that dead? Is there other wiring that I need? Am I doing something? Do I need to hold brakes on maybe? Does that switch do anything? Does it need to be on handbrake? Nothing. Not alive at all. Now, is that to do with this extra wiring that's with this key thing? That key doesn't turn. I mean, it turns, key comes out. That seems to be on, but I wonder if I need to do more wiring over there. Alright, I'll check it out. Oh, there's another solenoid thing here. I don't know what that is for. Gonna have to chase that up as well. Alright, more electrical. A lot of finding out. Let's go. Well, it's been interesting. I've pulled apart all this wiring to figure out that this connection, which comes up to the start button, was dodgy, and that was stopping me starting it. So I was able to use the jumper pack and jump the solenoid, and it was going. So I was trying to figure out why. It ended up just being that connector. All this wiring is absolutely shocking. There's like this thing here is a connector for power, but it's just some weird joint thing to split it into three. There's the same sort of thing for the earths, if I can get you a good picture. Like, all the earths just combine into one. So I was able to pull out the airbox that was sitting in there. That was just that one nut up there. We'll clean out the airbox. Then I got the carburetor free. Now that was a mission. There was a couple of screws to get the fuel input thingy, my bobby. This guy, where is he? This thing goes into a thing. So that's fine. Then a bunch of vacuum tubes. Of course, in doing all that, where is it? This spot right here, the nozzle thing, the nipple that comes out of that just broke clean off. I assume that's a vacuum advance type thing, from what I can understand, because it's right next to the fuel pumpy McJigger. Yeah, so we'll get this the bottom of the fuel bowl off and have a look. There already was some drips of fuel down there, so it does, or has had fuel in it, which doesn't give me a lot of hope. I'll probably need seal kits, maybe some new needles and seats, I don't know. But we'll take that up to the bench, we'll have a look. But very glad that it was just a faulty button, not anything more serious with this wiring. I did find a wiring gram, which I'll hopefully put up on the screen now. That wiring diagram somewhat makes sense. I can't find anywhere where there's an actual kill switch other than maybe that red one right there. That's my only thought of a kill switch. You've got the key thing here that is a legitimate key, comes out, goes in, turns it to a on position, but then obviously you have the start button up there. This thing here is a CDI, I think. I don't know what it does. I think it does something to do with sending electrical current the right way. Then you've got essentially the coil pack, which then comes down to the spark plug hole thing. So that's the hole. Spark plug in there. Not much to see. But I did spray some starter fluid or some brake clean down the air intake, and it did seem to fire off, albeit very briefly. So it's given me enough that we can power on with cleaning out the carb and seeing if we can get some fuel into it and get it running properly. When it did run, the back wheels spun, which is good, I guess, but I would have thought there would be some sort of neutral or reverse or something, but it doesn't seem like it on this model. So you've got forward and brakes, and that's it. The transmission does its thing, and yeah, obviously haven't had it running long enough to see if that shifts or not, but the wheels were spinning at least. You can probably see there's some massive dead spots here and on that one where it's been sitting. So we're going to probably need to get new tyres, probably all round. I'm obviously going to look for something cheap and nasty off Marketplace that I can either get new tyres fitted onto these or new wheels with them. I think I've showed you already the brake thing is not even on the caliper is not on the disc, so we're going to need to sort that out as well. But aside from that, it all seems to be okay. If we can get fuel into it and get it started, I don't see there's any reason not to get the brakes on and give it a little test. But let's get into this carby and we'll go from there. Alright, let's get this bowl off. Hopefully I'm keeping you in frame. Don't strip out on me. Oh, goodness. Oh, they are in there with the force of Titan. Some fuel leaking out. Oh, that is varnish. Alright, let's see if we can get this fuel pump off. Vacuum pump. Oh, yep. So there should be some sort of spring mechanism under here. Based on the blue generator. There's your spring. We'll push down on our diaphragm. So there doesn't seem to be any rips in that diaphragm. I'm not particularly keen on pulling it out. But, you know. Okay. Yeah, I don't think that's going to help anything. Don't even think having this off is going to help anything. There doesn't seem to be anything down there that we're going to be interacting with. Maybe there's some holes down there. I don't know what they do. We'll leave it off for now. There's this guy. That's where that fuel rod thing was going in. I think it's a fuel I don't know. No idea. We'll pull that off. Hopefully it shows up. There's a bit of gunk right in here. We'll look at that later. And it seems to match up with the gunk here. Oh, and this is ripped. That's interesting. This is just a breather, I think. But that's fully ripped, so we'll get that off. I have to replace that one. Yeah. Just absolutely mangled. Right. There's a bit of gunk around that. That is probably your idle control. Maybe. Seems like it. Let's get this thing off that broke. I'm guessing is a vacuum advance or some sort of vacuum actuated mechanism, and I've stripped that screw. Wonderful. What else can we do? Before I go and get more tools to attack this thing, oh, check out this throttle. That is extremely, extremely stiff. Oh. Don't know if that just needs some WD, but that is extremely stiff to change. Oh, there you go. There's some grot on that rod too. So there you go, that vacuum pump, fuel pump. Oh, there we are. We can pull that whole thing out. Okay. Let's see what we can do to attack these things without stripping them. Alright. Focus. Okay, don't focus. Can we get up alongside that and twist it? Not with that. What's wrong with these things? Excuse me while I Google how to get a stripped screw out. Well, Google suggested the same stuff, and this I just attached and really pulled at it and it came loose. So now, yep, yes. Brilliant. Goodness. That one seems to be in good condition too. Although it is, seems okay. It's not perfect. And I don't know what that is. Can you see? Okay. Is that a needle? I don't see a way of taking it out, so that was probably useless. Let's get on to these ones. Which was the one? Try this one. That is stuck in. That one's moving. That one's moving. That one's moving. That one. Wonderful. Maybe a bit of heat. Guess that can't hurt. I think it's heat. Let's take it over to the vise.
Honey?
Yes. There we go. A bit of heat. What about this one? Is that one the dodgy one? I thought it was. Either way. Beautiful. Yes. And yes. Alright, we'll let this cool off. We'll come back in a sec. Alrighty. Still a little warm. Perfect. Ooh, that's hot. Looks pretty good in there. We'll take off that float and we'll see what we see when I can figure out how. Pin. There's the inside of the bowl. Oh, it's still hot. Pretty clean. How do I get that up? That was pretty well stuck. And still hot. Should probably get a container for these parts. Yep. Beautiful. There is some gummed up fuel in there, down there, not a lot. I wonder if some of those passages are a bit gummed up. Yeah, can see through that, looks pretty clear. That's too thick. I'll try that one. Probably still too thick. Oh, there we go. Yeah, if you're seeing that. Focus. Not too bad. Can't see through it though. We'll get some of these to poke a hole. Take that off as well. Don't know that we can get to that, but we can blow some fluid through it. Same with that one. The whole thing's still a bit warm, so let's have a look at this. Go with the thinnest. Gets most of the way through. Okay, let's have a look at this. It's a 7mm. Come on. Where are you? There you go. Pretty clean. Do we have a torch? Do not. Alright. Have a look down there. Not much to see down there. Bit of gunk in this one. Not a lot. I think a bit of carb cleaner will clean this up fairly well. What else do we need to do? That's still pretty tight, that one. That throttle. Oh, very tight. Does that come off? Right, let's blast some carb cleaner through this thing. Where are we? Carb cleaner, there you are. It is slowly freeing up. Yep, that came out there. That hole there. Cool. Everything seems pretty good. Might give these a quick bathe as well. The needle and seat and whatnot. The jet. We'll throw it back together. Chuck it back in the bike and see if we can get fuel. Well, I did look through my stash of bolts. Had these ones laying around. This one's the original, and then these are ones I had in my bolt stash. This is too thick, and these ones are too short. I don't have anything else that's even close, so we just have to use the original screws and hope that we don't have to open this up ever again. Alright, they're on as best as I can with a screwdriver, and I'll just nip them up with the multi-grips. Just like a factory. Was there anything else that went there with this? I don't think so. Alright, let's chuck it back on. You almost had me. Knew there was more to it. It was a bit gunky. Let's clean that up with a bit of, I don't know, very fine sandpaper or something. Don't know if you can see that. Yeah. There you go. Alright. So we can chuck that back in. rod in the hole, beautiful. And then the big spring, and this guy. So the right screws? Should be. Or is it these ones? Yeah. Come on. Right, now this chappy goes here somehow. Like that. I must use these ones. My problem's going to be this. If this is some sort of vacuum actuation for the pump itself, then we're going to have problems. But where does that go? Does that go in there? I think it goes that way. So does that? Yeah. That doesn't make sense. Oh, and that's got some cracks in it too. You see that? Come on. Just there. So we probably want another diaphragm. I assume that goes in there, right? It seems to be swollen up. What am I? No? It goes on top of that. I thought that went there. Where does it go there? There. Doofus. Alright. So we'll have to try and find another one of those, but don't know how lucky we'll get. But for now, we'll chuck it on. Get that screw in. Get the other screw in. Good job, camera. Struggling with the light, are you? Oh, and that was that part on the bike, that pluggy thing that goes in there. Alright, not sure what we're going to do about that, or this broken thing that goes on there. I wonder if I've just got another bit of pipe that I can put on. It's just a breather, doesn't even need it. Who knows? It's better. Still not super free, but you probably don't want it completely free. To make sure this bowl screw it. Oh yeah, we did that up with the multi-grips, didn't we? Did we take that off? Should we take that off? Let's take that off. Oh yeah, we just put that on. Not the smartest man in the world, doing things poorly. Gotta give it a go, even if we get it wrong. Alright, let's see what happens. Alright, I have some of this sorted out. I've got that injection line, whatever that is. I've got the throttle cable hooked up. That's actually moving much better. I wasn't able to move that before, and you can see that's moving quite easily now, so that's good. I was going to hook up the fuel system, which sits over there. I've pulled off the zip ties that were holding it to the body, and you can see more zip ties. There was a zip tie holding that on, and then on this side, zip tie again with a split hose into a smaller thing, and that one is also split. So I need a new fuel filter. I need I've got some hoses that I can use, but I need to get a new thinner hose that goes onto the carby. So yeah, we'll go order that, and then we can hook the rest of it up and give it a kick. That might be in part 2, so stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe. It really helps me out and keeps me going, making more videos. Certainly want to move on to bigger and better things. This is a massive challenge for me, not something I've done before. So yeah, any words of encouragement or advice are greatly welcomed. Thanks guys, see you next time.